Dave Johnston here with Day Trade the Markets. We're looking at a 1-minute chart of the Emini S&P. Today is Monday, March the 6th, 2017, and this is the March contract of the Emini S&P. Just been filled long here, 2371.75 just a moment ago. And this is what has occurred today. As you can see, the market opened over here. Over here. Bit of a dip. Came up, tested the high, only took it out by a tick or two, one tick there and another tick here. Came all the way down, had a nice vertical move here, and when it bounced and then came back down, it only made a new low by one tick and then started to rally. It also had another test down here, and this test was a higher low than the previous test, obviously not a new low for the day. So we've come up here to an area of resistance, and you can see this formation that you see right here is a high velocity move, and it was produced by these two red bars, which is our second strongest of our three aggressive selling bars. We have three aggressive bars on the buy side and the sell side. The magenta, as you can see just down here, is the strongest of our aggression selling bars. So this was crucial in that when the market did come down, it made a new low at that time. Had very little follow through. It basically traded. As a matter of fact, if I go something like this, just to highlight this a little bit, and I'll make this the range of this magenta bar, something like this. You can see that once that magenta bar was formed, just a tick below it, a tick above it, another tick below it, and then another additional tick below it, and then it started to trade for a period of time rather than just a probe above it. Actually started to trade above it for a period of time. Came back down, traded within that range, and then started to rally up. So what I'm really thinking here is that we're on the verge of breaking to new highs for the day. We still got a lot of time to go, about 3 hours of trading left to go. Actually about 3.5 hours, so a lot of time left in the day. And the market also, when it came down to this area in the 67, was a support area. And so, you know, there was the option and opportunity to make a long trade from that area. On this particular trade type that I'm looking at here, or have executed here, it's a little bit of a different one, where in the sense that I have waited for confirmation of rejection of the support area. So the entry here is not the best entry. This is why I have not the best in the sense that we know that there's possible overhead resistance right here, which is what this red band is across here, just like this green band is across here of likely support. So I have put another order in here to buy two more at 70.25 to complement our long at 71.75. So we'll see if we can get filled on that. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead. I'm going to put a protective sell stop in down here, and I'm going to make that for 4 contracts because obviously if the market dips down and gets filled on, our other two will be long 4. So that's the lay of the land at the moment. And I'm also going to go ahead and put in a sell limit for 1 contract up here, because I think the market's got an opportunity here, or at least a really good chance to go up and test. The current high of the day was at 73.50, and even beyond that to 74, maybe even 76. So with that first one being around 73, and we're long from 71, I'll go ahead and make it. There it is right there at 73.50. I'm going to actually go ahead and make this a little bit higher. I'm going to make it at 74.75. So I'm going to put an order in there just to sell 1 for the time being. So everything's in place, our stop, our objective, our trade, everything. So I'll pause the recording and pick it up as the market dictates. Okay, I just resumed the recording. The market has moved a couple of points in our favor, which is nice. It's actually made a slightly new high for the day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cancel this other buy limit, and I'm going to adjust the stop here. First of all, I'm going to adjust the quantity down to 2 because we're only long 2 contracts, and bring it up to break even. So I'll just leave it there for now. Just want to bring you up to date on that, and once again I'll pause the recording and restart it when needed. Okay, just resuming the recording. We just hit our objective. We have not been filled. not yet anyway. You can see those green bars right here. So green is the second strongest of the three of the aggressive buying bars. So I'd like to see this get filled pretty quickly here. Otherwise, we could get some exhaustion come in and then pop down to test the support again. So I'm just going to raise the stop here a little bit. The low of this green bar right here is at 73.50. So I've raised the stop to 72.75 to lock in at least a point on these two contracts. So just wanted to bring you up to date on that. I put a marker in here, and hopefully we can get filled on this in the next minute or so. But in the meantime, I will go ahead and once again pause the recording. Okay, just want to restart. We just got filled on that, so I'm going to have to adjust the stop quantity down from 2 contracts to 1, because we were long with 2 initially, and now we have sold 1 of them. So we've got our stop in here. We've going to at least salvage 1 point on this second contract, and we've locked in 3 points, so a total of 4 we've locked in. So at any rate, let's go ahead, and we're just going to do a trailing stop here on this other contract, final contract, and right now where our stop is 3 ticks below the low of this aggressive green bar. Its low, as you can see right here, is at 73.50, and our stop's at 72.75, locking in 1 point. So I'll pause the recording and pick it up when needed. Okay, just updating here. We've got another green bar, as you can see, so I'm going to go ahead and raise that stop to 3 ticks below its low. So now our protective stop here, and I'll just going to go put a marker in there so we know where that is at. That's at 23.74 1/4, and we're long from 23.71 3/4. So and this, of course, was our first exit right here at plus 3 points. So we've locked in what 2.5 points on that. So anyway, just want to bring you up to date on that. Once again, pause the recording. Okay, just resuming the recording. Forgot that I put a buy stop in here on this crude a little bit earlier. So I put in a buy stop here. It's kind of a similar trade from the ES when you compare the two, because really good selling in here after the market had good buying here and then came all the way down. And the idea here on this trade is similar in the sense that we had a vertical move here and then consolidation within it. On the ES we got long a little bit below it, whereas on the crude here it got long after these initial tests had been established, and then its high got taken out. So in other words, if I go ahead right here and place a line like this, it just so happened that the top of the pair of these reds here that occurred as the market went down with confidence below this initial wave of buying, it hit it right on the dot, backed off, didn't make the new low. So the idea was that if this test gets taken out, which it did, that's why the buy stop was there at 19. So I'm going to go ahead, this is for 2 contracts, so we're going to go ahead and put in a limit order at 29. That'll be the first one. And the stop on this one, now that it's already moved about 5 or so ticks, I'm going to put the stop down in here. We're long from 19. I'm going to put the stop just below this last decel bar right in here. That was at 15, so I'm going to put it at 13. So we're going to go ahead and put in a sell stop for 2 at 13. There we go, sell stop. Good. So we've got our protective stop in, got our first objective. Now the first objective here is really up in here where this market came and tested. So let me just draw an arrow in there. So this is really our first objective on this one. Okay, we'll see what we can get on that. So I'm a little bit above that, which might not be the best, but I think, once the market rejects this lower zone down in here, oftentimes they'll have some pretty good moves. Now, if it doesn't, it comes back down in here, we get stopped, obviously, then it's not as strong as I was anticipating. But the one thing I don't like is this huge, it's a high velocity move, this rectangular area in here with the blue bars. That's our most aggressive buying, and you can see it just stopped right there and then started to sell off. Now, we did come back down below it, and I think holding back above it, as a matter of fact, this line that I'm showing you right here, the top of the red bar, is also at the bottom of this blue bar, which is where the very aggressive buying started. And I'll just So that's a good barrier, in other words. I'm just going to highlight that. So we really got a nice thick bar there, kind of see what we're doing there, and how important that bar is. So we've got that, and oops, so we'll just leave that the way it is for the moment, with our protective stop down here, and our objective up there. So let's go over and take a look at the, see how the ES is doing. Okay, it's still looking pretty good. We've got our stop in here, 3 ticks below the green bar. It just came down within a tick of the, within 1 tick of the green bar, and now is trying to move up again. So that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording. We'll pick it up shortly. Okay, just resuming the recording here. You can see the market has come off the high. We had a red bar here, which is pretty aggressive selling. It's come down within just a tick of our stop. So I just want to bring you up to date on that. Let's take a look at the crude. Okay, we have had a bit of a dip here, as you can see. So we did dip, we've come back up. So I'm going to adjust that stop. I'm going to put that stop just 1 tick below there. So our stop now is at 16, and we're long from 19. So just that one adjustment there, and hopefully we can get a bit of a lift here and reach that first objective. So anyway, that's the way everything is right now. Once again, I'll go ahead and pause the recording. Okay, just resuming the recording here. We just got stopped right here, as you can see. This is our marker right here, so we're stopped there. So that's the trade in the ES. We got 3 points on the first half of the position and 2.5 points on the second half of the position. So let's go over to the crude, see what's going on there. Okay, it's still looking okay. It's, you know, it'd be nice if we had a little bit more lift to it. We've got a little over half an hour left in the trading day, so we certainly got time to reach that first objective, and who knows, maybe even beyond that. But it's having a tough time doing much. We do have our stop in there. We're only risking 3 ticks on this, so I'm just going to leave it for the time being, and we'll see how we can do. And once again, I'll pause the recording. Okay, just resuming the recording here. The market just dipped, unfortunately, and stopped us out, so we did lose 3 ticks on the crude trade there on those 2 contracts. So yeah, so one winning trade with the ES, which worked out really quite nicely. We got, what was it, 3 points on the first and 2.5 on the second. And for those of you that aren't familiar with the dollar amounts in the ES and the crude is $10 a tick, and the ES is $50 a point. So in other words, when you get 3 points like we did on our first contract in the ES, that's $150. And then when you get 2.5 points, that's $125. So you add those two up and you get what, 275, and then we lost 60 here. So 215 net on the trades, on both of these trades, with the $30 on each contract being lost in the crude. So just for those of you that aren't that familiar with the tick value or the point value, the tick value in the ES, by the way, is $12.50. So there's 4 ticks in a point. That's why 1 point is worth $50. So anyway, that's how we better cancel this trade here, and that's how the trades went in the ES and the crude for today, March the 6th. 2017, a Monday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. By the way, if you need to contact us, you can reach us at info@daytradethemarkets.com. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.